Well, they're bringing a presentation up.
Yeah.
There we go. These are always interesting in the competitive marketplace. We very kindly beat each other's brains out on trying to get to you as customers. So, but then development of products in a new field, an expanding field from a policy and total integration and using stations that we're all going to come and use. What's interesting is we can all do each other's presentation if we just change the product stuff. So we're all really interested in figuring out how we can collaborate and work together. So I'm going to focus a little bit more on what the Chrysler and Fiat relationship brings as far as some lessons learned, and then what we might be able to get together down the road. So when we start, where Dick just ended, this is all customer based. There's the big story out there constantly. We all get this: is if we would build it, the customer will come. Yeah, sort of. But the customer isn't going to come and just buy anything we happen to have in our showroom. The customer comes in with desires for utility and customer value. That's what we compete on: is who has the greater value, who has the most utility. And the customer comes in with a lot of other possible wants, and that's all sort of portrayed here. There's all kinds of opportunities to create products, various fuels, various powertrains, architectures, but the whole package is what the customer is after. And what we are talking about here is the opportunity to add to this portfolio of products, compressed natural gas and LNG products. Stating the obvious from all day long, what the game changer is that the cost of natural gas is at a low compared to liquid alternatives, and it appears it's going to stay that way for a long time, and it's plentiful. We have been in this business for a long time, and back in the 90s when we at Chrysler did have the most expansive product line of anybody on the planet of natural gas vehicles, there was only one little problem: customers didn't show up. They didn't show up because the gas itself wasn't giving them an advantage that they could really count at the bank. At least it was in and out of vogue. So the market didn't ever develop, and therefore we lost interest. But with the price now stable, and appears to be stable for a long time, and with availability seeming to be available for many, many years, we think this is the game changer that could get the public excited about these products. Also, policy-wise, it's been helpful that in a greenhouse gas and CAFE rule that was just published, natural gas is giving similar incentives to plug-in hybrids, which then says we now can compete with some other alternatives. To further enhance that customer value, we're going to look to taking some leverage off of what we did, what our Fiat friends brought to us from their experience in Italy. And also, I want to encourage that one of the things that we really do need, all of us, is lighter, less expensive fuel tanks, and they must be conformable to fit into vehicle architectures that we would like to move that product into. The fundamentals of the Italian experience was that they had a really neat program during the 2000s that encouraged infrastructure development, product availability, helped with acquisition price. So total cost of ownership was seen as pretty instantly advantageous. Customers accepted that package, and that resulted in sales. The history throughout years was in Italy. This is against CNG in Italy. The number of stations was pretty well stacked or stable at about 200, a little bit more than that. But once the incentives started around 2000, 2001, they got on a pretty constant growth curve to get up to currently about just short of 900 stations in Italy. But so in the market, this was the package. This was the package that the government and the companies put together. Customer incentives fully offset the biofuel CNG hardware cost. Biofuel is interesting because there was a run at fully dedicated CNG, and the market just didn't go. And that is sort of a refueling, I want to get home type of concern. So biofuel was found to be necessary to get this market going this last 10, 15-year period. CNG at that time, and pretty consistently, was about half the cost of gasoline in Europe. The infrastructure, refueling stations are now widely available, but they too were subsidized up to 40% of the cost for each of the stations. CNG was seen as, the biofuel was required to make sure the range to get home in places in the country where the stations weren't quite as available. So we had incentive, fuel cost, infrastructure, range equaled customer interest. The obvious, when the incentives went away, the market died. This was in late 2009. The incentives did go away. The economy was starting to tank, and so they were having issues too. So the incentives stopped, and the market stopped. What we didn't really know, is that because the incentives went away and the customer then lost interest, or is it the incentives went away and the customers were waiting for the next batch of incentives? Didn't know at that time. But we have a peek at what is happening. It appears, maybe, that natural gas is now, can be recognized as a sustainable transportation fuel in Italy. What we're noting is that in the face of plummeting sales in Europe, 20% in Italy, for example, natural gas vehicle deliveries have gone up 90% compared to last year's numbers, increased market share from about 5% to almost 12%. Increased gasoline and diesel prices, coupled with an economic downturn, led to a sharp increase in NGV. So see what happened here, maybe. This is what the peak is, that the market said, forget about the incentives. They see the advantage. They see the utility and the customer value proposition of buying a natural gas vehicle, because they can get home, they got stations, now they see the cost advantage, and they're trying to save money. And Fiat's broad natural gas portfolio contributed to a large market share, and we're going to even touch on that in North America in a moment. So the market that Fiat has developed in Europe involves all products, all segments, and the white space down there, don't look at that quizzically. The arrows point over the commercial side continues, and we've been adding products in the last couple of years in Italy. So there's lots of experience, lots of product offering, and customers seem to be interested in whatever product they want. We're committed to pursue this. This is an exciting product, we believe, for ourselves and for North America. We are offering an OEM factory-built vehicle, which we're going to describe in a moment. We're going to leverage the Fiat experience in the alliance that we have with them to use their experience in Italy and at learning, and see if we can apply that here in the States. We are participants of this fine organization, and I think that several of you were probably at a conference we held just a few months ago on natural gas and infrastructure. We had a ball with this. We called together several organizations and companies that had knocked on our door as we were developing the product we'll introduce here in a moment, because of the interest of possibly common messaging and joint educational opportunities in the marketplace. But what we recognized is that we had a whole bunch of different inputs, and they were different. So we brought a whole bunch of you folks together with us, and for those who were there, I started off and said, we got the vehicles, where's the gas? Which got laughter, because they said, we got the gas, where's the vehicle? So we instantly came together that we have a joint challenge. That was followed a week later. Sergio Marchioni invited several CEOs of the distributors in for a summit that was based off of the output of the conference that we had. My point is that we learned that the partnership that we can have with you folks is what's going to help us get the right messages in a common theme and get this message out to the public. And we are obviously supporting the multi-state MOU. The product is Ram 2500 CNG. It's the only brand, Ram brand, is the only brand to offer a factory-built CNG truck, factory tested, factory complete, factory shipped direct to our customers, factory warranty and service. 2,400 Ram dealers throughout the country are trained and ready to take care of that product. The product comes in two price classes. It's a 4x4 and an 8-foot box. It's a biofuel system based on the experience we had in Italy and the experience we've previously had here. The CNG range is just under 260 miles. It's about 18.2 gallons equivalent, with a total range on the base tank is a gasoline 8-gallon tank. That gets about 370 miles, and the total range on a 35-gallon optional tank is nearly 750 miles. And as we look at this product, we're really excited about having our own homegrown and developed product. What is also as exciting to us, I think, to the marketplace is that we did this from time the flag dropped. We had a product coming out the chute at our plant in 24 months. The strategy we have on this is to look at the market and, working with everybody in this room, determine how to best approach the customer. And we're going to let this grow from fleet, because fleets have a better, more focused interest in getting fueling stations in, and then encouraging retail through the expansion of retail available gas stations, and then let the customer start pounding on the door and say, what do you want? Because we have the product, as we mentioned from the Italian experience, we can bring that product to this market in months. That infrastructure gap, this is, I hope, a little bit different view than we've seen all day. In Italy, I mentioned we have there was about just short of 900 stations. That's interesting because in land space, it's about the same as California. When I look at the density, the circled line there, Italy on 10,000 square kilometers, just to give a metric, they have about 28 stations, and in California has 3. What we're calculating is on the basis of the Italian experience that we're estimating that 5,000 stations would give us, throughout the nation, would give us about the same concentration as they have in Italy, and if the Italian experience is something to leverage, that would give the customer enough confidence to know they'll get home on gas. What we would like to do with this is then to wean the customer from the biofuel and get into dedicated, but we think that's a couple generations of product down the road. So the challenge we think is for us is in storage. We need a cost-effective solution for storing CNG on board, and also even the home refueling would be a great help. Technology innovations we see as coming. We are aware and participating with several programs that look at middle organic frameworks and result in conformable tanks. So we can put tanks where we have space as opposed to big round tanks in places that are taking up customer utility space. And current research is being funded. We are interested in seeing the DOE continue their investment in this area. And in the marketplace, we got to find suppliers who are interested in building these things. We need to look at home refueling. Customers may want that if the price is right. Fueling stations, that would take out refueling anxiety as we try to reach to retail. Fleets, moving into customers with the experience that they might have at their fleet, or just seeing one on the road, or just knowing that people are using these vehicles in a broad way. OEMs and multiple platforms, we will have to expand our product offering. We are all capable of doing that, so we need to get the customer to recognize that they can see value in this product. Competitive pricing is competitive with, that's not our competitive, we will be that, but it's competitive with more conventional vehicles. We've got to get the cost of these vehicles down so we get the price down. And maintain industry safety and compliance, which is fundamental. That's not an option. So this package, what's I think really tremendously exciting about this package is that this particular one does not call for incentives. But we do believe that incentives could be helpful in getting attention put on the right products and the right work needed in this business. But we see with the input from you folks and within the industry that the customer can be there if we can just educate them and get them educated, come into the dealership and want to buy the product. Thank you.
Thank you, Reg.